Are you tired of all the dreadful news out there? Here are some inspirational and positive news stories. Number 5, police officer gives boots to homeless man.
It was a very, very cold night that night. I was assigned to West 44th Street and Broadway, and I was on the foot post there, and I myself that night had about 2 pairs of socks on, winter socks, and also my combat boots, and my feet were still freezing. So basically I was standing there and I'd heard somebody laughing, joking around, and I looked over and somebody was laughing, this elderly gentleman who had no socks, no shoes on, or anything. And I went up to him and I was like, where are your shoes? He's like, it's okay, officer. He's like, I've never had a pair of shoes. He's like, but God bless you, thank you for doing what you're doing. And that really, it had taken me back because, this gentleman had enough heart to say, God bless me, but he didn't even have a pair of socks on, and I can only imagine how cold that pavement was. And so I ran a little bit ahead of him because he was headed south on 7th Avenue, and I knew the area, there was a shoe store. So I ran into the shoe store, and I had explained to them there was an elderly gentleman with no socks on, no shoes on, and I said, listen, I'd like to buy a pair of boots, something that's going to last a while. I don't care what the price is. We got to do this as an elderly gentleman out there with no socks. And Skechers helped me out, so while they were waiting to find out what pair they have, I ran outside and I grabbed the elderly gentleman, and I said, listen, I got a surprise for you. So I brought him to the Skechers, I sat him down and asked him what shoe size he was. And he said it was a size 12, so I ran back in there. And I said, listen, you got anything in size 12? And they came right out. And I paid, and I brought the shoes and the socks out. And I knelt down, and that's when Jennifer had taken the picture. But to my surprise, I didn't see anybody there at that time. I didn't even know somebody had taken a picture. And so I was just doing my job. I just knelt down, put the socks on him, the shoes on him, lifted him back up. And I said, listen, sir, I was like, you want to grab a cup of coffee? Maybe we'll get something to eat. And he goes, no, officer. He goes, he said, no, officer. He's like, listen, you've done enough. He said, God bless you and be safe. He's like, I love the police. And that, again, it's just, when I brought out the shoes, it was just smile ear to ear. So it was absolutely amazing. And I was able to share that moment with him, and he just continued to walk on his way. He didn't ask for anything, and it was a great moment for both of us.
Number 4, hero pulls man out of his burning car.
Courage caught on camera tonight. A Riverside man risked his own life to save a person from this horrific accident.
And Elsa, this really is an unbelievable story. A good Samaritan tries to pull a man out of a burning car and manages to capture the whole thing on his cell phone. Now, it happened here on Indiana Avenue. The car flew off the road, landed upside down right here before bursting into flames. When Santiago Portillo saw this fiery crash, he started recording. Then you can see him set his phone down when he realized someone was still in the car.
It's insane.
You can see him pull the young man out and drag him away.
So I had to save him, I saw the big explosion, I saw the fire, and I was not going to see a human get burnt.
Number 3, restaurant offers free meals to those in need. The restaurant's owner noticed people searching for food in a nearby dumpster. That inspired him to give away free meals. The sign reads, "Dear friends, if you are hungry and have no money to pay, just ring the bell below or come in for a free meal box." Number 2, this police officer was a good man.
Rarely do surveillance cameras capture the good in people. But on this day at this San Diego McDonald's, for that police officer, they caught a life's final decent act.
There's an officer shot. There's an officer shot.
Just after leaving that McDonald's, Officer Jeremy Henwood was gunned down, just sitting in his patrol car. A crime made even more incomprehensible by the fact he had just returned from Afghanistan and served 2 tours in Iraq as a U.S. Marine.
I think it goes without saying that Jeremy was a great man and a hero to our country.
Thousands turned out for his memorial service, where there were tales of his bravery and chivalry. But it was the last thing he ever did that summed up the way he lived.
3 minutes before he was killed, he's buying lunch for some little kid he didn't even know.
That little kid was 13-year-old Davian Tinsley, standing behind Officer Henwood in line at that McDonald's, short by comparison and also a little short on change.
I asked him for 10 cents, and he said, "What's this 10 cents for?" And I said, 3 cookies. And he said, "Well, I could buy the 3 cookies for you."
He opened his wallet and his heart to a kid he'd never met.
He said, "What do you want to be doing when you grow up?" And I said, "NBA star." And then he said, "Well, you got to work hard for that." And I said, "Thank you."
With that, Officer Henwood walked out. It was the last conversation he ever had. That brief encounter has changed the way Davian now looks at life.
Somebody I met that was a good guy, and then 2 seconds later he dies. It's just crazy.
Without knowing it, Officer Henwood had taught a sobering lesson to a boy and the rest of us. Kindness can go a long way, but life isn't always fair.
Number 1. What this amazing woman did for her taxi driver has made them friends forever.
Ellis Hill is overcome by emotion when he recalls the moment he learned his only son Darrell, a world-class shot putter, had made it to the Rio Olympics. But he's rarely flown on a plane and now retired and disabled, driving Uber to make ends meet. Money is tight. He'd be watching Darrell on TV like the rest of us, or so he thought.
It was a chance encounter.
After missing her earlier flight, business traveler Liz Willock happened into Ellis's Uber last week, and the Olympics came up.
He was a very engaging and endearing man, and at some point I felt comfortable enough to ask him if he was able to go.
She said, are you going to go? I said, I can't afford to go there. I said, I would like to be there, but I really can't afford to go.
But his passenger was having none of it. Willock works for Concierge, a global concierge service with contacts in Brazil. She asked, "If I can get you to Rio, would you go?" And quickly set up a GoFundMe account with a $7,500 goal. It would be the trip of a lifetime, truly life-changing for both of them.
I think outside of special things that have happened within my family, it'll be one of the most important things I've done in my life.
We're just now getting just how big this thing is. It's big, man, so, and I'm very proud.